out here and didn't have all the tools and the things that we have now. We have the internet, we have text messaging services, we have all these things to be able to promote this. It's no excuse for us to let this proposal to be confusing. We need to take the time and educate each other on it, because if not, people won't turn that to the second page of that ballot. And then they're going to look at it and they're going to think of a 30-second clip and say, I don't know. And we can't have a no vote. We need a very strong yes vote, because if they don't, it's my job to tell you what's going to happen. If we don't get that vote in, what this legislature will do is they'll take the 80-something bills that they have pending now, and they'll start processing them. They'll look to turn this in a right-to-work state.
That's the plan.
Absolutely. And, you know, Dr. King had a great quote. He said, right to work is just a way to confuse people. You get no rights and no work. But people fall for it and think that
because it says right to work. And you'll say, well, everybody has a right to work.
Yeah.
But we don't understand what that means.
What it really means is a right to work for less. It means we're going to let you come here and we're going to say you don't have to be in a union, so the union can't negotiate for you. So we'll collectively weaken the union's power. We'll just keep pushing them down and pushing them down. So when they say we want pay raises because the company has had 5 good years, they'll say no.
And Dr. King ended up being assassinated in Memphis. He was fighting for union rights, workers' rights.
Absolutely.
That's where he was murdered. He was assassinated at. People forget that. Fighting for workers' rights.
Yeah.
And we need to pick up the mantle. Workers have the right to unionize. Workers have the right to organize. Workers' unions have the right for collective bargaining. This has helped us. It has aided us. It has protected us. And as Brother Kevin has stated, if 2 goes down, the governor and this right-wing controlled legislature is going to make this state right to work.
They gave us an example already. They passed recently legislation for teachers and said that no school district can collect union dues for the teachers. Now, this had nothing to do with education. Doesn't in any way improve anything that's going on with our kids. It was simply an attack on the unions and on the teachers. You know, I understand that people look at strikes and they think they're horrible things, but they really don't happen all that much. And most of the time, people sit down and we come to an agreement that's mutually on both sides. Everybody agrees and we go back to work. You know, it rarely happens. Actually, now we're seeing in all the professional sports leagues lockouts, where the companies initiate the issue and preventing people from working.
Hockey's locked out right now.
Hockey was locked out. NFL was locked out. The NBA was locked out. Everybody so the companies are taking initiative when they complained about strikes on the other side. So it's a tool that happens, but at the end of the day, we have found a way to raise the standard of living for all workers. All workers. Everybody benefits, and not just workers in a union. You know, we know a lot of people are paid a certain level to keep them from unionizing. The workers at the transplants and the Hondas and the things around the country, they pay them a rate similar to ours to keep them from joining the union. So if we don't exist, why should their rate exist? So, you know, it's just a matter of making sure that everybody understands that we're all connected. If you're a dentist, then nobody had dental insurance until unions got them. Then they gave them to everybody. So you want a union to exist. Go back 50, 60 years and see how many people had dental insurance. It didn't happen. And they're trying to turn that around now. Same way if you are an ophthalmologist, and on and on and on. We are all intricately connected in this community. And the sooner we understand that and stand together, the better off we are. And that's why I appreciate you and what you do out here. You remind us of that every day. You stand out there and you're the big brother standing out in the streets challenging drug dealers, challenging people who are committing crimes, but you're also standing there reminding us that we're all together on this.
That's right.
And the more we do that, the better off we're on.
You know, that's what Dr. Martin Luther King said, that we were all interdependent, one upon the other. What affects you affects me. I may not know it, but what affects you affects me. What affects me affects her. What affects her affects him.
Absolutely.
So we are dependent upon one another. So let's unite, and that's the whole purpose behind the unions.
Absolutely.
Is organizing, uniting for safety, security, prosperity, human rights, civil rights for everybody.
Absolutely.
And that shouldn't frighten anybody.
No. You mentioned Martin Luther King. It was a sanitation worker strike in Memphis in '68, and a couple of employees that got crushed in the garbage cans. And the city was doing nothing about it. Well, because they were mostly African American, and they couldn't do the pressure to make them do something about it. And he stood with those workers then. And this is what he died doing. And there's some people who say, well, you know what? That was on purpose, because they recognized that he was getting ready to create, which could have been called a workers' party. Some people say, oh, that's communist, you're a socialist. But what he was doing was starting to speak up for a large mass of people, that it was even greater than just African Americans at that point. And when you start talking about raising the standard of living for a lot of people, you become extremely dangerous. So Martin Luther King died for this. The fight is not over, and we need to continue fighting through one of the strongest tools we have, which is unions and collective bargaining.
That's right. And I want to encourage people to support unions, support yourself. We've gained. We've grown as a city, as a people, as a community, as a country, so much from having unions. On November 6th, please vote yes on 2. Yes on 2. Do not believe the commercials from the right wing, the far right. Child molesters, all that nonsense. This is going to protect you. It's going to help us. This is what helped the African Americans to get into the middle class, was unions. Vote yes on 2. Well, thank you, Brother Kevin.
Thank you.
Appreciate
you so much.
it. You're very, very good representative. I know Jimmy Settles is proud of you.
I hope so.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
We are.
Thank you.
All right, my
Thank
brother. Okay, we're going to take this commercial break, and we'll be right back at you. Good job.
Thank you.
Very good.